obviously Keanen Steyn. I grew up in Johannesburg, South Africa. I did my apprenticeship in Durban, a little bit in Johannesburg, Port Elizabeth and Cape Town. For most of my career I raced in Cape Town. Yeah, I'm an outgoing person. Within saying that, I also like to chill and spend a lot of time with mates. Family is a big part of my life, and yeah, horse racing as well, I suppose. I think it was about a year or two later I went into high school, and halfway through high school, through grade 8, the principal called me to the office, and he gave me pamphlets for the South African Jockey Academy, and he thought it would be good for me. So I took a look at the pamphlet and the requirements, height, weight, from your knee down to your foot, your shoe size, and I fit all the requirements. So I got home, I phoned the academy in Johannesburg and made up an interview. And then when my mom and dad got home from work, I told them that we've got an interview in a couple of days, we need to go and see them, we've got such and such in time. Went through, and then from there they accepted me. I went to another interview, they accepted me, and went to the academy a year later. Yeah, obviously at that age you start questioning and you start asking, like, what do I want to do with my life? And I never really found myself to be an office type of person. I enjoyed playing sports, and the principal and the teachers knew that, you know, I was a sporty kind of guy, and small, obviously tiny in stature. And yeah, I think it was a blessing in disguise, and then from there it was something just to try. If it didn't work out, there was nothing gained, nothing lost. I would have just gone back to school and continued with my studies. But thank God it worked out. Apprenticeship in Durban. Every South African jockey starts their apprenticeship in Durban, and you finish your schooling there. And then after you finish your 3 years of schooling, they'll either leave you in Durban or they'll send you to Johannesburg, Cape Town, Port Elizabeth. My career started in my 3rd year. I was very light, and at that stage you had to weigh a certain amount in order to start racing. And I'd gone into the academy a year earlier than the rest of the guys in my year. So I was a lot lighter. But it wasn't a rush. They said to me, there's no rush. Rather start a little bit later and finish your career later as well. And I started my 3rd year, started racing. I had a little setback. I injured my arm, and I was off for about 6 months. And that set me back a bit more. Then in my 4th year, I think it was my 4th year, they sent me to Port Elizabeth. I did a year of racing in Port Elizabeth. I was lucky, I did pretty well there. Also raiding Kimberley, and after that year they gave me the choice where I would like to go, you know, if I'd like to stay in Port Elizabeth or maybe try another centre. And with being born in Johannesburg and my family in Johannesburg, I thought, let me give it a try. I went to Johannesburg for a little bit. Things didn't really work out as well as I would have liked, but within saying that, I got offered a job in Cape Town for one of the trainers there as an apprentice. And yeah, so then I left from Johannesburg to Cape Town and I finished my apprenticeship there. And I'm glad I did. I love Cape Town. It's a beautiful place. It was a funny start. I got an email, I think it was in 2011, I got an email of a lady that owned a stud farm in India, and she was looking for a jockey to come and ride for her. she didn't have many horses. I think she had a handful of horses, but at that time you could go for an owner or a trainer and still get outside rides. They would release you, obviously get a fee. The other trainers would book you for the meeting or for a horse, and give you a set amount or whatever to ride it. And so yeah, so she decided to contact me. We got into touch with each other. She told me what she would expect of me, how it would work and all that. And at that time I thought, we were always taught in the academy that if you got an opportunity to go overseas, take it, because it's a notch in your career. It's experience. You can always learn from it. And you can ask any jockey. The main objective is to start riding overseas, is to as many places as possible, and getting that experience. So yeah, I rode in Ireland for a couple of months. There was a bit of problem with my with the visa, so I had to return back. But I rode for also a brilliant trainer there, Joe Lyons. I learned a lot there. He's a brilliant trainer. He gave me a lot of good advice, and definitely one of the places on my bucket list to definitely go back to and finish it there. I suppose it differs from every jockey, but in the mornings I'm not a person to I'm not really a morning person, but I'm not a person to rush. I hate rushing, so I'd rather wake up. I wake up usually about half an hour, 35 minutes, 40 minutes prior to what time I have to leave. I wake up, I have all my track clothes ready, I have a cup of coffee, get dressed, drink my coffee, kind of get your mind into the swing of things of what you're going to do, what horses you assume you're going to have to work, how you're going to work them. Then usually get to the stables. It works a little bit differently in South Africa than it does in Ireland, India and Mauritius, but pretty much the same concept. Chat to the trainers of what work you're going to do, what work needs to be done to the specific horses that are coming up in races, and then yeah, take it from there, I suppose. I think the main difficulty for any jockey is just to maintain your weight. Even if you're a lightweight jockey, you're not always a lightweight jockey for the rest of your life. And if you get into bad habits with eating or drinking or whatever, it's going to catch up to you in the long run. But yeah, I suppose just maintaining your weight, watching what you eat, keeping the weight down to where you can, and also keeping fit. It's one thing we take runs, we cycle, or so on and so forth, but track work and racing fit is different. So we try and keep ourselves racing as much as possible to keep us fit for the races. Yeah. We know a lot about it from South Africa. I mean, there's a lot of South Africans that have come to Mauritius. It's a beautiful place. The racing is it's so lively. There's so much passion for it. I mean, I think that's what draws all the jockeys to come ride here, especially the South Africans. But within saying that, witnessing it firsthand, like in my first meeting, it's something you can't really explain. It's just I suppose every jockey's dream to ride in front of a crowd like that. But yeah, it's definitely something to have taken in, and something for the books there. go, break the ice type thing, eh? I was hoping to do it on Saturday last week. Unfortunately, it didn't work out. Our draw line, I think, also got the best of us. But yeah, patience is a virtue, and within saying that, hoping to do it next meeting or in the coming meeting or so, yeah. My guiltiest pleasure, I suppose junk food. The greatest challenge, I would say, is to always be on top form and produce. To always have the confidence and the actual know-how as to go through your race and predict what's going to happen, and hopefully it works out. My greatest fear, not succeeding. How do I love to, like I said, I'm an outgoing person, but I love to be at home and completely switching off, either being with loved ones, family members, or my girlfriend Jessica Swart, and just yeah, spending quality time with them and her, and switching off from the rest of the world. How do I celebrate a win? Well, usually what we do in South Africa is, if we had a winner, we'd meet up with friends, go have dinner, or else yeah, just go and celebrate with my girlfriend, go for dinner, and then meet up with the mates afterwards or family, and yeah, take it from them. Unappealing habit. My most unappealing habit would be sleeping. I sleep too much.